let's now have a look at the chorus. And this is another one of those sections where there's quite a few different ways of playing it. The real problem with this one is on the record you can't really hear anything underneath Noddy's voice just because it's so loud. So I'm going to start by showing you the open chords, then we're going to have a look at a little variation on that, and then I'm going to show you an alternative way to play the chorus. So the open chords then, they just go like this. So we're going to start off this open G chord, or should I say open G5 chord. And this is going to be exactly like how we did for one of our introduction ideas. So we'll start with the third of the E, muted A string, open D, open G, and then third of the B and E. We'll then drop the bass note down to that second fret of the E, so F sharp, keeping everything else the same. Then we'll move down to our E minor and we'll push the rhythm going into that E minor. And we'll play that through twice, so we have this. We're then going to switch over to A minor, then G, then push the rhythm into D, similarly to how we did with our E minor, and that goes like this. And you'll notice with the D major there, I'm just bringing over my pinky finger to the third of the E. So much like how we did in the verse, we achieved that D sus4 sound. Once again, we're doing it now, but with the open D chord. And we're just putting it on and taking it off, and we'll do that twice. At this point we're going to go back to our G progression, so G, F sharp and E minor, and again we'll do that twice. And then to end the chorus, here's one idea I've got for you. We can follow the bass line and that'll sound like this. So following the bass line means we'll go to a C major, then we'll go to a B over G, and we're going to play two strums on each of these chords, so twice on the C, then moving down to our B over G, and that's my middle finger doing the second of the A string, then open D, open G, and then pinky finger at the third of the B. So we're missing out both the low and high E strings here. Then we'll move to D major twice and then G major twice, or G5 twice rather. And then we'll go back to our D rock riff, but instead of doing it up here, we're going to do it as that open D shape, so second of the G, third of the B, then we've got ring finger coming over to the fourth of the G. We've also got the open D string in there as well. Now, instead of doing that descending bass line with the chords starting from C major, instead of doing that, you could replace it with the end part of our introduction, so this. Now, you don't have to do it like that, but personally, I think it sounds a bit more accurate to the record. You could also do it arpeggiated. Again, in context, that would just sound like this. another idea for you, and this one's a little bit out there. It goes like this. Now, personally, I really think this sounds the most accurate to the chorus out of all of them, but it is a little bit crazy and a bit out there. We're essentially starting with our G notes like we did in the introduction. So 10th of the A, muted D, open G, 8th for the B. Then moving down to our E position, which is the 7th of the A, muted D still. Then we've now got the open G, 5th of the B, and then pinky finger at the 7th of the E. We'll then move around to our A minor, G and D like usual. Then go back round twice. And then we can nice and simply slide up to our end part. Or arpeggiate it if you'd rather. And then move round to our rock riff. Let's now have a look at verse 2, and this should be a really quick one. I'm going to start by showing you the example and then we're going to break it down. Check this out. So there's a couple of differences between verse 1 and verse 2. The main one being we've got the introduction of that overdubbed lead guitar which happens over the E chord both times in the progression. But before we get to that, we've also got a subtle change happening with our rhythm guitar. Right at the very beginning of verse 2, rather than playing our G riff at the 3rd of the E and the 5th of the A with our pinky finger stretching over to the 7th fret, rather than doing that, we're going to replace that with the G notes that we played from the introduction. So this. It's a really subtle change for the rhythm guitar. Anyway, let's now have a look at those lead guitar lines. Both of them happen over the E chord in the progression, and the first one just sounds like this. We're going to start at the 10th fret of our B, and we're going to begin by playing that and bending it up a whole tone. We're then going to bring in our pinky finger to the 10th of the E, and we're going to play that. We're then going to bring our B string down and play it unbent, 10th fret still. Then our middle finger is going to play the 9th of the G. And then our index finger is going to play the 8th of the B. Anyway, let's now have a look at the second bit of overdubbed lead guitar. It just goes like this. This one's really simple. It's just the 12th fret of the G and B played together, and then the 14th of the D, and then we'll repeat that. Now, if you didn't want to play this as a bit of lead guitar, you could include it as a part of the rhythm guitar, and that would just sound like this. To wrap the song up, we're now going to have a look at the variation in chorus number 2, which is a really quick part, and then we're going to have a look at the overdubs in verse number 3. Now we're going to start by having a look at chorus number 2. I'm going to show you the example and then we're going to break it down. Check this out. So the only thing we're really adding into that second chorus is the bend on the 2nd of the G over the E minor chord. And this is another one of those situations where it's really up to you whether you think it's a good idea to add it in or not. It features in all of the choruses apart from the first one on the record, but I'm not totally convinced I would do it if I was playing at a gig, but let me just show you anyway. We're starting on the G chord, descending down the F sharp bass note, into the E minor, and then on the end of that E minor, we're going to take our index and middle finger over to the 2nd of the G, and we're either going to play it once and bend it up and down twice, or play it twice, bending it up and down. And with the chords, it just goes like this. Let's now move on and have a look at the overdubs in verse number 3. Check this out. Let's have a look at that first overdub lick. We're going to start at the 14th of the G, And we're going to play that once and bend it up. We're then going to bring our index finger over to the 12th of the high E. So we've got a little string skip there. We're then going to go back to the 14th of the G unbent, pulling it off to the 12th. We'll then move over to the 14th of the D, 12th of the G, back to the 14th of the D. So all together slowly it becomes this. And a bit quicker. Let's have a look at that second overdub riff. It just goes like this. We're going to be up on the high E string now, 17th fret. We're going to start by playing that and bending it up, and we're going to play that twice. We're then going to play it a third time and bring it down, pulling it off to the 15th of the high E. We'll then move over to the 17th of the B, 15th of the E, back to the 17th of the B. So that was my lesson on Come On Feel the Noise by Slade. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got a lot out of it. I'm now going to leave you with a backing track where I'm going to play a selection of ideas we've talked about throughout the tutorial. So really now it's over to you. This is your chance to play along with the track all the way through from start to finish. Anyway, check this out.